Morning, this is Brian. Today is Sunday, March 28th, 2021. I am in Cedar Canyon in Angeles National Forest, here to bring you an episode of Spotlight on Shrubs. Today, Spotlight is on the mountain whitethorn, Ceanothus cordulatus. This is a very common species here in Southern California and also up into the Sierras. Its full range I will include in the description, so take time to read that if you're interested in the more comprehensive range of this. But being here in Southern California, I very commonly encounter this shrub, especially above 6,000 feet and going way above that. Ceanothus cordulatus is one of the species of Ceanothus, as you saw in the scientific name, Ceanothus cordulatus. And so it's also called a California lilac. It's one of the many species of California lilacs. Now the name lilac is a little misleading because it is not related to the lilacs in the genus Syringa in the olive family, Oleaceae. Ceanothus is in the Buckthorn family, the Rhamnaceae. So mountain whitethorn is a shrub you're going to encounter in the mid to higher elevations of our mountains, again including the Sierra Nevada, which I've seen it over there a lot too, and here in Southern California it's very much a plant you will come to know while hiking in higher elevation chaparral, woodland, and sometimes in the understory of coniferous forest. See, we're probably about an elevation of 6,300 feet above sea level, so we're kind of towards the lower end of this plant, though I do believe it does occasionally grow below 6,000 feet, but for the most part, going above 6K, especially significantly above 6K, is where you're going to find this plant really coming to its own, like here. So, chaparral whitethorn is a close relative of this plant. That remains to be a spotlight I want to do when the plant's in bloom, because chaparral whitethorn, Ceanothus leucodermis, a close relative of Ceanothus cordulatus, has an insanely beautiful blossom. So that be on the lookout for that video probably sometime in April when the plants really come into bloom. Now these mountain whitethorns are very similar when they're upright like this. They actually look quite similar to chaparral whitethorn. They have grayish green leaves and very sharp thorns at the end of the twigs. These are actually botanically thorns. Roses are prickles. Thorns come on the end of side shoots. So these are actually true thorns. So the form of Ceanothus cordulatus usually is a pretty low growing shrub, sometimes rather prostrate, only getting up to about your shin, sometimes up to your waist. Then occasionally they do grow upright and form these really dense thickets that are painful to bushwhack through. And in the late spring and summer months, because this is more of a higher elevation plant, so their blooming period is a little bit later on, they will get these little rounded clusters of small whitish flowers, which turn into these little warty seed capsules. These are old seed capsules that didn't even open. So they're kind of rounded. They kind of have three little crests on them. They're kind of hard to see on camera. But usually by this time in March, the old seed capsules have fallen off and make these little round bases that are all that remain. Because what they do is they flower, then they produce their seeds in the little capsules. Then the capsules explode, and the seeds get projected into the soil, awaiting the next fire or mechanical disturbance to, well, I believe specifically fire in this case, for them to start germinating. I believe these might be burrow resprouters, but don't quote me on that, because not all Ceanothus will resprout from its root crown. I might have to do a little more research into that aspect. Roughly about half Ceanothus is, half Ceanothus isn't, I believe. So, again, it's closely related to our chaparral whitethorn, which usually replaces mountain whitethorn as you go down in elevation. Although I've seen that as high as 6,500 to 7,000 feet as well. So there might be some mingling of the two. I don't know whether they hybridize or not. That I really don't know, to be honest. But again, these guys get little white, little rounded clusters of white flowers that become the seed capsules, which burst open, and all that are left are these capsule bottoms here. And that's pretty much all the Ceanothus here. So this shrub is quite drought tolerant, as it can grow in very, very sun-blasted exposed areas where there are no trees. I believe it might be able to reach above the tree line, because it can grow at quite high elevations. I've seen this above 9,000 feet as well. It might grow above 10K as well, potentially. But the beautiful mountain whitethorn is one of the toughest shrubs. And again, these will be very common in high montane chaparral, where the shrubs are usually a little bit lower, mixing in with greenleaf manzanita, Arctostaphylos patula. I've seen it mix in, obviously, with one of its relatives, Frangula californica, the coffee berry over here, at coffee berry's higher elevation. And you go in the Sierras, you'll see them mixing with other Ceanothus. You'll see them mixing with bush chinquapin, Chrysolipus sempervirens, and that's mostly above 6,500 feet. So this one will probably be blooming more towards, I want to say, at this elevation, probably June or July. Sometimes even later at higher elevations, like in July and August. And then their seed capsules will ripen towards fall. But here it is, the beautiful Ceanothus cordulatus, mountain whitethorn. Watch it, look for it, enjoy it, appreciate it. Just be prepared. It can rip your skin off. It's pretty thorny. There it is, Ceanothus cordulatus. This was Spotlight on Shrubs with Brian Powell, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Go up to your mountains and check out Ceanothus cordulatus.